I would like everybody to imagine that I am Diane Cooper Gould, and I'm going to read her opening comments at this point. Good evening, and welcome to the third annual Fairfax County SEPTA Awards. I'm almost Diane Cooper Gould, one of the co-founders of SEPTA and current advocacy co-chair, and this year, I'm honored to have been the coordinator for our SEPTA Awards. This is truly my favorite event of every year. Teachers and staff help to shape the course of our children's lives, and it is critical that we honor and celebrate those who have dedicated their lives to ensuring that all kids, regardless of ability, thrive. Now, let me tell you a little about our awards program. Every spring, we accept nominations for our SEPTA Awards from FCPS families and staff. This year, staff were nominated in one or more of 14 categories. Once nominations are closed, a committee of volunteers vote on the nominees by evaluating the submissions and using a rubric as a guide. To ensure impartiality, no committee member may vote in a category for which they submitted a nomination. Once judging has been completed, we evaluate our top submissions for our Outstanding Educator of the Year awards. Every nominee receives a nomination certificate and is honored during our program. Our category winners will receive a winning certificate and a plaque, and our two Outstanding Educator of the Year honorees will receive a $100 gift card in addition to a plaque and a certificate. It is our tradition to have a reception and ceremony in person. Last year, we had over 300 attendees, including the nominees, their families, FCPS leadership, and school board members. It was our hope to have honored each of you in person again this year. However, due to COVID-19 and social distancing, we were sadly unable to do so. But never fear, we have created printable certificates for nominees and winners. Those certificates will be sent to you via email over the next week. Material gifts of certificate, plaques, and gift cards will be ordered and distributed once it is safe for us to do so. It's our sincere hope that we will be able to honor you in person to distribute the awards, if at all possible. Keep an eye out for follow-up emails for more information. I would like to acknowledge that our entire awards program takes several months, many hours of labor, and a lot of volunteers to make it happen. So please join me in thanking our awards committee, without which none of this would be possible. Laura Allen, Laura Baker, Ali Baldessari, Margaret Burns, Jen Beneke, Barbara Burgess, Michelle Cades, Amanda Campbell, Michelle Converse, Jennifer Krasinski, Kathy Grulick, Christina Hahn, Lauren McCaughey, Helen Miner, Sarah Moore, and Jenna White. I would also like to give a special acknowledgement to our communications chair, Amanda Campbell, who created the beautiful slideshow that you will see soon. And now we're going to flip over to the words I was going to be sharing with you all. So welcome, hi, thanks, not Diane. Welcome everyone. I'm Michelle Cades, the president of Fairfax County SEPTA. Thank you so much for joining us for our SEPTA Awards ceremony. And Diane, thank you again for stepping in to coordinate all the behind the scenes work to make this ceremony possible. It was a true labor of love for you, and your work was so appreciated, both for this process and by me for your mentorship this year. When I transitioned into this role a year ago, I wondered what I was getting myself into, and little did I know what the year would bring. At the very first meeting with our board, I looked around the room at an incredible group of people and I asked them for help. I was relying on their expertise in each of their respective roles. My goal was to keep it simple, not to overprogram, not to take on too much for us to handle. We all had personal connections to the special education community, whether it was our kids or our careers or both. We were probably the least likely group of people to have extra time to spare. But we were all there planning out the year together because we believed in SEPTA, in supporting and representing others in our community. We each had stories to tell that only people who had walked in our shoes could really understand, without judgment and without questioning. And over the year, we managed to balance one another out. Somehow, perhaps miraculously, we were never all in crisis mode at the same time. And we got very good at playing tag team with one another, jumping in to help when each of us dealt with struggles in our own lives. I want to thank everyone who contributed to our board this year. Laura Allen, Laura Baker, Ali Baldessari, Tina Baldera, Jen Beneke, Barbara Burgess, Amanda Campbell, Diane Cooper-Gould, Kathy Grulich, Norm Hall, Rich Hem, Jennifer Krasinski, Helen Miner, Sarah Moore, Hillary Press, and Kate Volpe. Thank you all for an incredible year. We're in the process now of selecting our board for next year, and I can tell you that I am so looking forward to working with our elected officers. Amanda Campbell will be our vice president, treasurer continuing is Rich Hem, and secretary will be Stephanie Smith. So at risk of sounding like I'm giving an Oscar acceptance speech, I am going to say a few more thank yous. To our Fairfax County School Board members, both current and former, thank you for your service to our community. As elected officials, you certainly have your work cut out for you, and I thank you for tackling difficult decisions with unrelenting energy and passion. Thank you to the FCPS administration, particularly to Superintendent Scott Brabrand and Assistant Superintendent Teresa Johnson. Thank you for your willingness to meet with us throughout the year, to engage with us in challenging discussions, and to genuinely want and graciously appreciate our feedback, especially on the hardest of topics. Teresa, from when we first met, when you were the principal at my kids' high school, you supported me and my children, and you've touched the lives of so many more over your career. I'm so glad we were able to continue to work together in new roles, and I congratulate you on your upcoming retirement. From what I've seen, compared to parenting, grandparenting is a much easier and much more fun job. So I hope you enjoy every minute of it. And to Francisco Duran, your role as Chief Equity Officer was a new and vital position to bring about change in FCPS, focusing on supporting equitable opportunities for all students. We wish you the best of luck in your new role as Superintendent of Arlington Public Schools. Thank you to the ACSD, the Advisory Committee for Students with Disabilities. Your membership is a vital microcosm of the disability community in Fairfax County, and we look forward to our continued partnership. We're so appreciative to have a seat at your table. Thank you to FCC PTA, as well as the Nova District and Virginia State PTA organizations. It's challenging to be a PTA without a base school, and your support of us and our mission is invaluable. Thank you also to people beyond our board who helped us to conduct workshops this year. Samantha Cox, Rachel Bailey, Catherine Hartsburg Burnett, Lucy Beednell, and Jenna White. And thanks to Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, the Blue Iguana Restaurant, and Barnes & Noble for your contributions to our fundraising events. And my Oscar acceptance speech is now done. So, as I was trying to find inspiration to write my comments for this ceremony, I struggled and I was at a loss for words, which is pretty rare for me. The past few months, and especially the past few weeks, have been mentally and emotionally exhausting. At a time when emotions are raw and energy is depleted, where could I find inspiration? It was then I found a quotation from Booker T. Washington that was perfectly fitting for this moment. Booker T. Washington was born into slavery in America. He was emancipated at age 9, and with tremendous determination, he traveled through hardship to go to school and become a star student at Hampton University here in Virginia. He ultimately was considered to be one of the most influential Black educators of his time. He was an author, an orator, a presidential advisor, and a leader at what is now Tuskegee University. Yet with all of this achievement, how did he describe success? He said, "Success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life, as by the obstacles which he has overcome." And that, in many ways, describes the work of the people we're honoring today. They choose to work with and for our special education students and community, those who face many obstacles. In a time and place where it's so easy to be swept up by the wants, high salaries, fancy cars and homes, climbing the corporate ladder, today we honor the people who focus on the needs to overcome obstacles, the needs to patiently work towards small successes that are actually enormous ones, the needs to be heard and seen in a system where it often feels like the shiniest stars dwarf those facing the greatest challenges. These people carry the job titles that are most important for our children: teacher, therapist, instructional assistant, office administrative assistant, principal, bus driver, advocate, coach, volunteer, friend, parent. These are the people who help our children to overcome obstacles, to grow into understanding, accepting, and loving themselves for who they are as individuals. Our nominees show their love and dedication to their work through actions they take, and also by the emotional connections they build. Those connections, those unspoken bonds, the trust and authenticity, the warmth, and the just getting it. Those connections are not things we can easily put into words. And one thing that was consistent across our nominations was just that, the emotional connectivity that speaks its own unspoken language. Yet words are what we have to use to describe our award nomination entries, and it's so hard to put those emotional connections to words. It doesn't feel fair that we had to pick winners for the ceremony. As much as we tried to standardize our judging, it's hard to standardize and even harder to compare these relationships and their impact. Each nomination we received told a heartwarming story about a relationship, a belief in ability, about connection, trust, authenticity, warmth, and just getting it. It is truly a privilege to have the opportunity to read all 144 of the nominations. Stories of small successes that feel tremendous, of patience, persistence, dedication, trust, and pushing for what is right and what is fair. These nominees are people who are creative and out-of-the-box thinkers, people who take polar plunges and distribute food and winter coats to hungry and cold children, people who bring smiles to difficult situations and stay for years in arguably some of the most difficult jobs. We heard stories of positivity, optimism, and hope, stories of people who sometimes fly under the radar, unseen by many, and unrecognized in the crowd. These nomination stories made us smile and brought us to tears. So here now we celebrate each of you.
Powering off.
Sorry.
Okay. We're still celebrating each of you. We can't call you all up on the stage, and we can't shower you with rounds of applause. We can't offer handshakes and hugs, but we have heard your stories, and through this modality and this opportunity, we share our celebration of you. I offer a special thank you to Amanda Campbell for all of her work to design and produce this presentation. Over the next few days, we will hopefully be able to share our recording of this program, including our ASL interpretation. And now we're going to hopefully, which I'm sure we will, get to view our awards ceremony slideshow. We created that without any added voiceover because we decided to let the excerpts from the nominations speak for themselves. So congratulations again to all of our nominees and awardees. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Amanda, it was a wonderful presentation, technical glitches and all. You had me in tears. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for supporting SEPTA. Please feel free to join us. And we look forward to continuing to serve you and work with you. Thanks very much. Have a wonderful night. Be well.